Hello, welcome to another edition of our wonderful podcast in which we talk utter bollocks. My name's Birch.
My name's Sean. And bollocks is the word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hadn't really thought of that until now, but yeah, that sums things up pretty well.
Yeah.
Maybe we should call it the Bollocks Cast.
I think that would be a good summation of all the effort and hours that you've put into editing.
Yeah, now that I think about it, it's a bit of a slap in the face to me. Well, yeah, so here we are again with another lovely topic in hand. And this week's topic was chosen by yourself, Birch.
It was.
And the topic is?
The topic is Morrissey of the Smythes.
Of the Smythes. No, were you kidding, right? It is the Smiths, right? I've not been mispronouncing it all these years. It's the Smiths.
I've never heard them say, "Hi guys, we're the Smiths," so I can only assume
it's the Smythes.
It's the Smythes.
Yeah, poncy bastards. Thing about it though, Morrissey. What does the E stand for in Morrissey?
Morris E.
I know, obviously, the surname's Smith, so it's Morris E. Smith. So emptiness? Morris Emptiness Smith? That would be in keeping with his...
Could be emptiness, it could be...
Elephantitis.
Yeah, elephantitis.
That would explain a lot as well.
Yeah, because he was famous for that.
He got pretty big, didn't he? He got pretty big.
Yeah.
He was a skinny young man, and he got pretty big.
I think that's why the band stopped, because he just couldn't leave this room, just because of the size of him, and like people were just chucking buns at him through the window.
Yeah. And he was going, "I'm a human being."
They're like, "Sure, yeah." And Johnny Marr was just like, "I can't see us recording any more together.
Yeah,
I'm formally putting an end to the Smythes."
To the Smythes, yeah. And you know, he's a solo act now, but he's actually the stage is the perspective is a bit of a trick because it's actually a lot further away than people think. So he looks about a normal sized man.
That's right, and he's still in that building that he was stuck in when the elephantitis kicked in.
Is this some sort of like Tupac style projection we're talking about? He's not on stage at all.
Well, no, they carry the building around on a heavy load lorry from city to city, country to country,
right, whenever
he tours. So it's just a giant man with elephantitis being dragged around in like what is a bungalow. He calls it his Bungalow tour that never stops.
The never-ending Bungalow tour.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's Morrissey's tour.
So it's a bit like a sitcom set in that the fourth wall is not really a wall. It's just facing outwards so people can peer in at him.
That's right. They've cut out that wall.
Yeah,
just so that people can see. He still can't quite get out though because he's kind of lodged between two of the walls.
So we're really saying not only he's got elephantitis, but gigantism as well. If he's that big, because people with elephantitis aren't particularly big. They're not actually like elephants.
No, I think I did confuse the two briefly there.
Yeah.
But now that you mention it, he has both.
Why is he so miserable? I tell you what, this is exactly what I said would happen. When you suggested Morrissey as a topic, I said, I'm just going to slag off Morrissey for however long we talk about him. Maybe you should steer the conversation.
Yeah. I think it should be mentioned early on that Sean's not the biggest Smiths fan. Have you given them much of a listen, or?
I like the Smiths, I just don't like Morrissey. But the problem is, he's in the Smiths and sings over most of their very nice instrumental music.
I mean, he's a bit of a funny chap. But,
hilarious, yeah.
But
he's got a great sense of humour. Doesn't take himself seriously at all.
I think it's those early days in those working men's clubs up in Manchester where he started off as a stand-up comedian.
Manchester? I thought it was Indian.
Oh yeah, Manchester, India, yeah. Manchester, India is what I mean.
He used to live in New Salford, just outside of Delhi.
That's right.
New Delhi.
In those working Indian men's clubs. Please give it up for Morris Elephantitis Smith.
That's before he shortened the name.
Yeah, that was his kind of like gimmicky stand-up name.
Yeah.
Like you've got Roy Chubby Brown.
Because he was originally Roy C. Brown, but he lengthened his. He gave his full middle name out for everybody to know.
No, that's right.
Yeah. What's he up to? Roy Chubby Brown.
What's he up to? Probably same old. Do you know his real name?
You're telling me Chubby isn't his real name?
Probably.
You're telling me Roy isn't his real name?
No, it kind of.
Royston. Oh, I do know this.
Yes.
Royston Vasey. They
That's
took
right.
his name for the League of Gentlemen.
That's right.
Ah. Well, go on. What's he up to?
What's he up to? He's stealing bags of frozen peas from Morrison's. Various Morrisons are up and down the country.
Really?
Yeah.
That was Anthony Warren Thompson, though, wasn't it? That happened to him as well.
Oh yeah, well he's done it as well.
He was. It was him as bottles of wine that were about worth a tenner.
No, that's right. Yeah. Well, I mean,
everybody steals from Morrison's.
Yeah. Well, Royston started it with the frozen peas, and then Warren Thompson.
Going.
Yeah, he really set the flame ablaze, and then Warren Thompson was just like, I could do that. I don't really want to copy him completely.
No,
I want to do my own spin on it.
Well, Warren Thompson is nothing if not original.
No, that's right, exactly. And so he did bottles of wine instead of frozen peas.
Aimed higher. Everybody was doing it. When I worked in a Morrison's, and I won't mention which one because anybody working there might remember this, but there was quite a popular assistant store manager who got caught stealing about £200 worth of shopping.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was disgraced, and it was horrible.
Was that?
He's jumping on the Roy Chubby Brown train.
He was probably a fan.
Jumping on the Brown train. That sounds like a horrible euphemism for something. I don't know what, but let's not dig on that particular line of comedy there.
No, that's not.
I'll tell you one thing I want to talk about is when we were out for your birthday last week and you made the classic mix-up. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. You confused Mark Bolan with Jim Bowen. And they're so similar.
Yeah.
So I can understand it one's glam rock lead singer, missed by all.
And the other was the lead singer for T-Rex.
Yeah. Oh, but they're so similar.
I can't even remember making the faux pas.
I know that I almost died with laughter. I doubled over, I folded myself into a small ball and lay there on the floor crying with laughter.
I started drinking at 6. Jesus, it was
AM or PM.
Oh yeah, we started as we mean to go on. No, it was about 6 PM, and then I think I got home at about 5 in the morning, something like that. So
no, I got you home earlier than that.
Oh, it was.
Oh yeah, it was earlier than that because, well, not much earlier. Maybe 4:30.
Oh, okay.
4:15. I didn't get to bed till 5:30. But that's because I made friends with all the neighbourhood cats on the street. Sat on my front steps talking to them for about 20 minutes. And then I wanted to go to bed, so I invited all the cats inside the house.
Oh.
And then had cats wandering about inside the house.
Lovely.
For about a half hour. And then I went, no, I really do have to go to bed now. And then I had to try and shepherd all the cats out. Like some of them were upstairs, some of them were in the kitchen. I'd get one out and another one would get back in. It was a logistical nightmare.
A few of them were playing poker.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys.
Yeah. And then they found the cat flap, and then they just made their own way back in.
Oh.
No, it was a logistical nightmare. They do herding cats is an idiom, isn't it? It's a saying. And I was literally trying to shepherd the cats out. Much easier to get them in the house. I wonder why.
But yeah, this faux pas that I made.
Bowen.
Yeah, it was
Bowengate, as we'll call it from now on.
Yeah, it was something I was talking about. How basically, I don't even know if it was Mark Bolan that I was trying to talk about because I've not heard this myself. But about him.
What do you mean you've not heard it yourself? You were the one telling us about it.
Oh, yeah, I must have been. I was.
You were telling us that Mark Bolan / Jim Bowen had 2 ribs removed so that he could suck his own penis, which, as well as being nonsense, is something that's always attributed to Marilyn Manson. So that, I was confused on 2 levels. Not only was I confused at first because I was like, he means Marilyn Manson, doesn't he? But then you said Jim Bowen. I was picturing Jim Bowen trying to get his head around his beer belly.
Doubled over, trying to suck his own cock. Yeah, no,
Imagine if he accidentally just got, instead of 1 from each side at the bottom, he got 2 from the left, so he's kind of a bit wonky. He could kind of go around to the side,
he can
to the left.
He can kiss his thigh, but he can't. Well, I mean, it confuses me because I've always attributed this to Marilyn Manson as well.
Yeah.
I've never for the life of me thought or heard about it being Mark Bolan, so I must have been talking double shit.
Double shit, yeah. Because you were. I said, "Do you mean Marilyn Manson?" You were like, "No, Jim Bowen." Meaning Mark Bolan, yeah. I mean, it's not true anyway that Marilyn Manson did that.
Well, no.
One of those really strange things.
So, yeah, it's an urban legend that was misattributed to someone else who I happen to confuse with another person entirely. This is too many strands removed.
I know,
now.
yeah. A strand removed for a rib removed.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying.
At least you didn't get as far as Bully, the bullseye cartoon character.
I have until the commercial break to suck my own cock.
Bully, you count the money. I'll suck myself off.
That is an image I don't think I'll ever get out of my head now. Jim Bowen just doubled over.
Don't actually voice it. People, because
blimey. The first time he does it. Jesus.
Do you think he did it on television?
I think that's why Bullseye's no longer on TV.
It had to get cancelled at some point.
And that was very much the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
A very big nail.
Yeah, that was it. He did it sat on top of the speedboat. Yeah. He went, well, we're never giving this away.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jim Bowen sat on a speedboat, sucking himself off.
Oh, we're through the looking glass now, mate.
Oh dear. But yeah, it was a good night.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was.
But Sir Morrissey, yeah, so...
Sorry, did you say Sir Morrissey?
No, I...
Over my dead body.
He wouldn't accept a knighthood, would he? I wouldn't imagine he would. I don't...
Not since that song, The Queen is Dead. She's never been a fan.
That's a good... How could I forgotten that?
She's not been a fan. She wouldn't give him one, he wouldn't get it.
I didn't think of that. Can you imagine that? If he did get offered a knighthood, and she's like, to be fair, it was a good album.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be like, you know when Diana died, we had Elton John doing Candle in the Wind.
Yeah.
When the Queen dies, we'll get Morrissey up and he'll do Queen is Dead.
He defies explanation, that man.
But not impersonation.
No, that's true. Well, everyone does a kind of an impression of him, which sounds something like Mr. Bean whenever everyone impersonates him. So it's, what is it? It's kind of like...
Teddy knows I'm miserable now. Except I don't know how the tune goes, so...
So, not a fan of Morrissey, but you're a fan of the Smiths. How do you find... So, do you have issue kind of like differentiating the two? Like, you kind of... What's stopping you completely getting into the Smiths is, what, Morrissey's personality or his voice?
Voice, yeah.
The voice.
I always thought I would get into Morrissey. I hated him for years, and then I got to a point in my early 20s where all my friends got into him. And I went, you know, as much as I don't like him, I get the feeling I'm going to get into the Smiths because a lot of my friends have done it. And not that I'm a sheeple or anything like that, but, you know, I can understand the appeal. But then I just couldn't get over his voice. I did try. There Is a Light That Never Goes Out. Great intro, love it. As soon as he starts singing, I was just like, oh, God.
Oh.
Tell you what, James, there is a dislike that never goes out.
Yours for
Mine
Morris Elephantitis Smythe?
Exactly, that's the one. What else is there to say about Morrissey?
Well, very passionate meat eater.
Mad for Meat. That was the name of one of their albums, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Mad for Meat. The one it had it on the helmet. Yeah, Mad for Meat.
And that was also the origin of the whole Mad for It Manchester scene.
Yeah.
It was originally Mad for Meat.
Anytime anybody said Mad for It, they were talking about meat specifically.
Wanted some ribs, wanted some steak.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did that tour, didn't he, where he went up and down the country, basically going to every steakhouse from Cornwall up to the end of Scotland, just going around like sampling each.
From the Highland Cow to the Lowland Pasty. He loves them. One after the other. Stop twisting my pork loin, man. That was another Manchester saying, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite common to twist a pork loin back in the 80s.
But it was the rule was you never twist anybody else's, hence the saying.
Yeah, that's
Stop
right.
twisting my pork loin, man.
That's right.
Was he in the Happy Mondays?
Yeah, he had a brief stint in the Happy Mondays.
He was the dancing man. The E'd up dancing man.
That's right. I mean, back at that point, they were called the Sad Tuesdays. But
Oh dear.
soon changed after he left. But yeah, he was the original Bez. I do like his dances, though, that Morrissey does.
I prefer Bez's politics, quite frankly.
Yeah, certainly less. It's very straightforward. You know what you're going to get with Bez.
He did that bed in, didn't he?
Bed in.
Yeah, where like is that what they called it when John Lennon did it? I didn't want to say a lie-in
Oh,
because
right.
that just implies he's just being a bit lazy on a
Well,
Sunday
he's been
morning.
doing that for years. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they did a bed in like John and Yoko did in New York, except theirs was like televised live on a webcam.
When you say they, please tell me it was him and Shaun Ryder in some kind of what is it?
Morecambe and Wise
Morecambe
would
and
always
Wise,
be
like,
in bed together.
Yeah. They both had like silk pajamas on,
Yeah.
and they were just like in bed with next to one another.
Do you think they were doing it off camera? Morecambe and Wise. Why else would they always be in bed together?
That's a good point.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't really, no. And when you say off camera, do you mean when they stopped rolling but they were still on the film set? Or do you mean when they left?
Yeah. But what's confusing is Ernie Wise was always called the straight man. So that implies that Eric Morecambe
was the gay man.
Was the gay man, but also that if they are doing it off camera, it might not have been consensual.
No.
Which is terrifying to think. Eric Morecambe was a big man as well. And were they both called Eric? Ernie Wise, that's it. Eric Morecambe and Ernie Wise. Ernie Wise was quite a small man. That's
true. He could have quite easily had his way with them, and they had a lot of clout as well. So they could have done this on set.
Is that the name of a brand of lubricant?
Get your clout today. Yeah, they always had clout on set, just in case. And because of the power that they had at the BBC, no one ever said a word. It was always...
well, it's endemic in the culture, isn't it? We've seen that in the last few years.
That's true, yeah. Just never with, like, one co-star with another.
Yeah. Oh. He's not really a meat eater, though, is he? He's a...
No, very passionate... is he vegan?
He's uber vegan, isn't he?
Uber, yeah, I guess. I don't know if he's just vegetarian or whether he's actually proper.
He can't give everybody shit all the time if he's only a vegetarian. He's got to be vegan if he's giving people shit all the time.
I guess, yeah.
Because otherwise, vegans will be looking down on him.
He once likened eating meat to, was it rape?
He's got away with words.
Yeah.
Did you know he was nominated for the Bad Sex in Literature Award? This is an award they do every year for the worst description of sex in books that come out. Yes,
because he wrote that novel, didn't he, shortly after his autobiography?
Yeah, and his description of sex was just so unloving.
Can we pull up a passage from the novel?
So I think the book was called List of the Lost. So he won this in 2015. He won this Bad Sex Award. So I've got some little excerpts here. With Eliza's breasts barrel rolled across Ezra's howling mouth and the pained frenzy of his bulbous salutation extenuating his excitement.
A bulbous salutation.
All quiet, all still in this descent, and pleasant... Oh no, I said descent instead of decent. I'll start that again, we'll cut that out.
Do the man justice, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, God. All quiet, all still, in this decent and pleasant atmosphere of slumber and repose, where lush houses of beddy by shut-eye snoozled in Sleepland.
Oh,
That's not even sex, is it?
that sounds like a...
It's nonsense. Preciously kneeling on the upper crust carpeting, the boys were inexpressive and almost beloved. What the hell does that mean? Upper crust carpeting. The problem is these are such short extracts, I can't tell if they're about sex or not.
Upper crust carpeting. Shaved pubic hair?
God, whatever it is horrible. Well, this is a good one. This isn't sex. Whoever put the pain in painting had also put the fun in funeral. That's a good little snippet.
It was the same man.
Yeah. In their secrecy, Harry does not like Tracy's knotted banana toes, and Tracy finds the manly central issue too slight to grip.
Knotted banana toes.
It's like a nonsense poem. In their secrecy, Harry, this is Harry with an I, by the way, as in not the character as a Cyclops, I mean it's Harri. In their secrecy, Harry does not like Tracy's knotted banana toes, and Tracy finds the manly central issue too slight to grip. Right. Manly central issue too slight to grip. It's nonsense. Either that or the man's a genius.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of going for like a Spike Milligan poetry almost.
It is a bit. It's like a nonsense poem. Bastard.
It's original. I'll give him that. I've not really heard anything quite like it.
You've never heard the term knotted banana toes before?
No, I'm not that well read, so I don't really. It's not something I've come across before.
They're doing that documentary about him, aren't they?
Documentary.
Yeah, they're doing a Morrissey documentary.
Oh, I know a film came out.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's a film come out called England Is Mine, about his life before the Smiths.
Right. Why is he such a patriot? He's miserable. He doesn't like being here. I suppose he just mirrors the English northern weather, doesn't he? I've
not seen the film, but there's a part in the trailer which kind of made me go, oh, God. It's like one of those...
Go on.
There was like... I think the trailer ends with like a knock at his door. He answers the door and he's like, oh, who are you? And then the guy's like, oh, hi, my name's Johnny Marr. It's like, I'm looking to start a band. It's just like, I wonder what goes on here. I wonder how...
Where could this lead up
Exactly,
to?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit like Nowhere Boy, when he first meets Paul McCartney and, was it Pete Best, the original drummer?
Yes, yeah.
If he was the best, why did they replace him?
Because Ringo was a star.
I wish this was... people can't have known this because it's an audio recording, but you pointed both your fingers at me like he's a star. Star, baby. And this, I may be parroting myself here, but what does the E in John E. Marr stand for?
Well, for him, it's elastic. Wow. Because he was very known. He was like a Stretch Armstrong, which is why he played such great noodling guitar pieces.
Because his fingers were noodles.
Yeah, he could literally kind of like have one finger on the first fret of his guitar, whereas his pinky was playing like the 15th fret.
Wow, that's very impressive.
That's why he's such a great guitar player.
Well, I'm glad I finally know that. Yeah. What happened to darts-based game shows? The nation was gripped in the 90s.
I don't know, people just...
Not my Britain.
No.
In the words of Morrissey.
Yeah, that's true. He was a big darts fan, famously.
A huge darts fan, yeah. He used to dance around on stage with a little bouquet of darts sticking out of his arse, out of his jeans. And
he had Tony Green stood at the hockey.
Yeah.
And Johnny Marr would be like throwing darts. And it'd be just be hitting Morrissey in the arse, like part way through Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now, and then Jim would have him. Tom Green. What was his name? The guy who stood at the hockey.
I don't know what the hockey is. I don't know who. Tom Green is the guy from Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about.
The guy.
I was just playing along.
The guy, like when you'd have during Bullseye, when they'd be like. Jim would be like, right, step up to the hockey. And then the person would be stood there and he'd be throwing darts and you had the guy stood there like, right, take your time, no rush. And he was like, throw the dice like, 20, Double 20.
I love that at some point, even though you've forgotten it now, at some point you knew his name.
Tony Green. I think it's Tony Green.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, anyway, he'd be stood there on stage. He went on tour with the Smiths.
The Smiths, yeah, the
Smiths. And Johnny Marr would be throwing darts at Morrissey's arse. He'd be like, 20, 777, 180. The audience.
That's a great score, by the way.
Oh,
I don't know if you know anything about darts, but that's a great score.
Yeah, he did all right. Yeah, well, he's very good at darts, Johnny Marr.
Because Morrissey, he was a huge Bristow fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've nothing more to say on the matter.
He loved Eric Bristow. That's all you need to know.
Because if you weren't watching a darts-based game show, you'd be watching Supermarket Sweep.
Yeah.
What I love about Supermarket Sweep is that was back at a time when supermarkets were a novelty enough that you could have a game show. You could make fun out of a supermarket. Whereas these days, they're, no matter what time of day you go, busy and awful and full of annoying people who aren't looking where they're going. The idea you could make that into fun is a very old-fashioned idea, I think. And it's very, charmingly British. It's so, pedestrian, making a game show out of a supermarket.
A supermarket was it in a studio, or was it a real supermarket that they decked out with their own stuff?
I'm pretty sure it was a working supermarket, yeah. Dale was the store manager. We're talking about Dale's Supermarket Sweep, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Do we need to say? It goes without saying, doesn't it? Dale Winton.
That's his name, Dale Winton. Yeah, he was the store manager. Yeah. One difference between a real supermarket you usually see and Dale's one, a lot of giant inflatable things floating around his shop. Didn't really seem to have much purchase value, but for some reason were very valuable within the confines of the show.
I assumed that they lived near the sea, and so those were
beach
buoyancy
inflatables.
and beach inflatables.
Oh, buoyancy, so you think they were safety apparatus.
Yeah, that's right, like a safety, inflatable donkey, in case you're drowning.
Dale the Male Winton, because he was the most masculine television presenter of the era.
That's true. I think it was those suits.
It was the whole look. It was the look, the sound, everything about him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dale the Male. When it comes to Morrissey, do you want to talk animal rights, racism controversies, or relationships with fans? A relationship with fans. He's not had relationships with fans.
I mean, we've touched upon his veganism somewhat, so I guess we could go. Let's go relationship with fans.
Okay. Well, this is bollocks. This is just talking about how much people love him. I thought it would be some little snippets of him spitting on his fans or telling them to fuck off,
throwing cauliflower at them.
Yeah. He does like throwing cauliflower. Let's go animal rights. He's a bit of an advocate, isn't he, for animal rights?
A little bit.
He likes animals, I think. Either that, or he's got some compulsion to look after them.
Yeah, he feels a kind of a need that somebody has to say something, so he does it begrudgingly, talks for those animals.
He does everything begrudgingly. He's miserable. I've got to stop mentioning that.
Yeah, come on. He must. He can't be that miserable if he puts his trousers on in the morning, goes out and makes music.
Does he though? Does he, or is he just wheeled around in this room that he's wedged into, as we established at the start?
That's a point. Yeah. Okay. He doesn't. Yeah. He gets up. He wakes up in the morning. He gets wheeled, and then he makes music and plays for his fans.
Well, there you go. We can say that about him. He wakes up in the morning.
If there's one thing that can be said about Morrissey, he does wake up.
Yeah, he does.
Usually after he's slept. Anything there?
Oh yeah, shit. No. Problem is this funny stuff or not? At a concert in Poland in 2011, he said something quite controversial. Remember in Norway when that terrorist killed 97 people on that island?
Right.
Morrissey's response was, "We all live in this is to a crowd at a concert. We all live in a murderous world, as the events in Norway have shown, with 97 dead. Though that is nothing compared to what happens in McDonald's and Kentucky Fried shit every day."
Jesus Christ. At least he didn't say that in Norway, I guess. If there's one positive to be taken from that.
Only because he wasn't in Norway at the time. If he had been in Norway, he would have said it in Norway.
I'm sure if that was a part of his tour, he was counting down the days until he could say it to them.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'll show them. Show them where their bloody loyalties should lie.
Yeah.
we've had a look at some news stuff about him. Let's have a look at some of his own personal quotes.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Okay. I like this Morrissey quote. Robert Smith is a whinge bag.
I like. There's a few great quotes. It's funny that those two seem to have I guess a bit of a feud back in the 80s. Robert Smith of The Cure and Morrissey.
Yeah, I didn't know about this. Someone mentioned it to me semi-recently. I'd never heard about that.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, there's like I think it was Robert Smith who said, who also is a vegetarian.
Oh, but not a vegan.
No. What was it he said? It's like, I would gladly start eating meat just to annoy Morrissey. That's how much I hate Morrissey.
Oh, I can sympathise with that sentiment.
And he recounted a time at a house party where I think he like punched Morrissey in the arm, apparently. And
what, like his little buddy, you know, like... or what? He's like, you bastard.
I don't quite know.
Bastard Morrissey.
I can't quite recall like how it was intended, but I seem to recall him recounting that Morrissey just kind of silently wept in the corner.
That was not what I was expecting you to say. I thought he was going to say that he got really aggressive. He silently wept in the corner. What? Did they know each other when they were 6?
Yeah, and then Johnny Marr just looked and said, I'm telling. And,
yeah, went and got teacher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, didn't he say it was something like if your hair's...
If your hair's shit, you're shit.
Yeah, basically, yeah. If your hair's not right in the world, then you're not right in the world. It was along those lines.
Well remembered. There's one here that just says, Peru, Peru, my heart's lighthouse.
Yeah, he was very famous for saying that, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was this catchphrase. He used to walk into a room and go, Peru, Peru. And everyone would yell back, my heart's lighthouse. Yeah.
God,
you know, we were saying earlier about, well, at least he gets up in the morning.
Oh, God.
On the subject of Morrissey getting up in the morning, what's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning? Wish I hadn't.
So we've even got that wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, God.
Here's a very existential one. I don't even know if I exist off stage. That's because he lives in that room that gets weird about.
Yeah, it's just this angst, this existential angst. Yeah. He literally doesn't exist off stage.
Lot of harking back, I've noticed on this podcast. Harking back to Winton Mania. Real nostalgia fest, this. I just get the feeling that anybody 5 years younger than us won't get these jokes.
I don't know. I mean, we've talked about Jim Bowen. These aren't exactly things that were necessarily of our generation, but we know what they are.
That's true. Yeah, so, that's true. Cultural osmosis. It goes back to I mention this to somebody at least once a week. The generation coming up after us, they don't have CFAX, they don't have teletext. What are these people going to turn into?
The doomed generation.
Exactly. They don't have the joke of the day. They won't be able to know the weather forecast unless there's some newer way of getting hold of this sort of information that I'm unaware of.
Not really. News weather broadcast ended in like 1999, as far as I'm concerned.
You have to log on to the end of the radio broadcast day to get the shipping forecast. That's about it.
Or stick your head out the window. That's about as detailed as it gets these days.
Was that for the weather or for the joke of the day? Just hoping a funny milkman is driving past.
Yeah.
Milkman, eh? Don't see milkman anymore, do you? Little milk floats.
We get a milkman near around our street.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Not telling any jokes, the bastard. Just delivering milk.
I'm surprised he's doing that, to be honest. He's probably one person on his route every day.
It is, it's not. It is like older people, I think, that still like having a.
It's probably like his mum. She's like, I'll just put an order in just to keep him busy.
That's one bottle of milk.
And he comes back the next day to collect the empty bottle, but it's only half. He's only half done.
And he's very specific. It's like, don't tear the little top off completely. Just put it half off,
and then I can fill it back up again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can keep the lid.
Yeah.
What else don't you get anymore? What's better?
We really are harking back now.
Yeah,
right.
we really are.
Oh yeah. Remember when dog poo used to go white? That was a thing, wasn't it?
What?
This is an established thing. People are aware of this. Do you not remember, like, dog poo, when left out on the pavement or whatever, used to go white?
Used to?
Used to. As in, doesn't anymore.
No.
This is a thing. I've heard other people mention this. I'm not just making this up. This is a thing. I'm surprised you don't remember dog poo. You know, dog poo. You used to leave it in the sun? Well, you didn't, but a dog would.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you did. I don't know.
No, I hope you wouldn't mention, but...
It was and then it was one of those things where everybody was always wondering why it was. And it's because dog food used to have loads of bone meal in it. Ground up bones and shit.
Oh, right.
It used to go white in the sun. Now it doesn't.
That's a real thing.
This is a real phenomenon. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to see this for myself. I've never seen white dog poo.
Walking around with your eyes closed throughout the entire 90s. Don't you remember?
I was too busy collecting pogs.
Oh, let's talk about pogs.
Oh,
Christ.
Pogs.
Do you remember you get those really thick ones? Did they have a special name? They were like a pog version of a shiny Pokemon card. They were like Uber pogs.
No, I only ever had I had Looney Tunes pogs because they did those in packets of Walker's crisps.
Yeah. I'm sure they were to coincide with Space Jam.
Might have been.
Very possibly, yeah. That was a great film. That was the first film I ever saw with Bill Murray in. And I was just aware that he was like... Because he was in the film playing himself. He wasn't playing a character. So I was like, he's obviously someone famous that I should know and pay attention to. But I had no idea who he was.
He was playing himself?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But then again, so was Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have known who he was. He could have been anyone to me. We don't have basketball. Well, we have basketball here, but it's not exactly like a...
Yeah, but everybody knew. I knew who Michael Jordan was.
You knew who Michael Jordan was before you knew who Bill Murray was?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why.
No, nor do I.
I knew who Bugs Bunny was before I knew who either of them were.
Blimey.
Michael Bugs Bunny Jordan, he used to be called. Wait, no, they're different characters, aren't they?
I don't know. I assumed Bugs Bunny played Michael Jordan in the film.
Yeah.
Like dual roles like Eddie Murphy did in his old films.
In, what was it, The Clumps?
Yeah, Nutty Professor.
Oh, that was it, yeah. The sequel was called The Clumps. I'll tell you what, if you wanted fart jokes, that was that was the film for you.
Boy howdy.
Boy howdy. If you wanted to watch an overweight African-American family farting at a dinner table, that is your film.
I think that was even Roger Ebert's write-up of it.
Because famously, he used to end, up till that point, every one of his reviews would end, when are we going to see a film with an African-American obese family farting at a dinner table? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Every film up until that point, 1 out of 4 stars. And then as soon as The Nutty Professor came out, and its sequel, he was a happy man.
He'd been championing that idea for years, but yeah, I'm glad it happened in his lifetime.
Certainly. It would have been tragic if he died beforehand.
Yeah.
Space Jam, though. Right, well, I think we've said everything the world needs to hear about Morrissey.
Yeah, for sure. I think if that doesn't entice newbies to kind of seek him out, seek out his music, then I don't know what will.
Because at the moment he's a cult figure. He's not very well known.
No.
He's not got many fans, I would say.
No, just me.
Mostly you, yeah. And if we can shine a light into the the dark corner that is Morrissey's career and give him a bit of publicity, I think we've done well. Because frankly, he needs it.
Yeah.
He needs it. God help him. He needs some operations to sort out his elephantiasis and his gigantism. Yeah, that poor lad. He's never. He's tried so hard to drag himself up from his bootstraps.
I don't think he can find his feet, Sean. So.
Sorry, that was insensitive of me to say.
It is a bit.
He's tried so hard though to bring himself up from the poverty-stricken Salford area, into some sort of life, and he hasn't managed it so far. No. But God bless him. All the best, Morrissey. Morrissey, if you're listening,
can you imagine?
Imagine if he Googles himself every week. He sits down on a Sunday. He gets a bathrobe, and he just curls up in the corner of his room, smoking a pipe, eating some vegan cauliflower, and he Googles himself, and he sees, what's the world been saying about me, Morris E. Smythe, this week, and he stumbles across this, Well, if you're listening, Morrissey, honestly, all the best.
It was it was out of love and respect for you and your music.
Yeah, well, your side was. I don't think I expressed much of that sentiment, but good luck, mate. You deserve it.
Yeah,
you'll make it one day. You'll make it. The world's too bright a place. We need people like you. So yeah, having said all we need to say about Morrissey, I think it's time for us to say goodbye.
Yep, goodbye. Thank you for listening.
No, I was hoping we'd say it in unison.
Oh.
Goodbye. I've been Sean.
I've been Birch.
And I'm going to carry on being Sean.
I don't know, I'm in two minds.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be Dale.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be Morrissey.
Till next time.
Maybe you'll be Jim Bowen.
Yeah. How much does it cost to remove a rib?
Goodbye.
Toodles.